Got to get some of this glare off of this lighting, so let me just adjust this a bit and see where this works best. It's like a whole game between trying to get the glare to go away but also still have it work as expected there. So let's see if this will work out. Yeah, still too much glare. That's my fault. I probably shouldn't have sleeved these cards first, but let me try something else here. There we go. So you're going to see that. I think that worked. All right, so this is what I've had to do lately. I've had to like put this at a specific angle, use one of these things to just make this work okay, and then hope that it actually scans my cards right. So let's see. All right, it's doing a pretty good job now. I'm actually getting the right cards at least. The other day it was just scanning nonsense the entire time. Yeah, this is what I want. I just want this thing to work consistently and be able to get the correct cards pretty constantly all the time. And sometimes it'll still give you trouble, but let's see if this works. There we go. Oh, I got a little lag there. Oh, it just was taking a second to catch up. Junk jet. All right, here we go. Now we're really cooking. Curious, I just paid retail for this Commander deck because I wanted the Fallout one, and it's hard to find Fallout stuff lately. So I was really curious to see if these decks are worth like more than you'd pay by default. So I opened this one yesterday on the stream with my fiance that worked out really poorly, and yeah, that one. I got like the worst possible collector booster sample pack cards. Like they were worth like 10 cents a piece. So I was a little disappointed. I'm hoping that I open these collector boosters up to my left and they'll be worth a little bit more than that. All right. Abundant growth, sticky fingers. All right, I think I got to switch out this little hopper here and see if I can throw more cards in there. All right, so I check the value of those. I'll throw the rest of this little half a deck in there, see if it will keep up with the rest of these. Let me straighten this guy out. Right, all the glitters. We got, oops, my one feed is getting kind of laggy. I'm gonna have to see if there's a USB cable problem there, but might just be all my connections here. I'm on like gigabit fiber. I have like a pretty new MacBook Pro, so overall I'm just hoping this streaming setup doesn't need even more money thrown at it to make it really reliable. All right, so I think I paid $47 for this entire Commander deck, and whoop, half of the way through, we are already almost broken even, so that's a plus. I like when these Commander decks have some kind of value. Sometimes I'm actually surprised at how valuable some of these Commander decks actually are. Other times like the Edge of Eternity's ones that I was just like checking out. I really like the overall like Commander deck, but there's not enough cards that are good for people to play with. I think that's what really makes them the most valuable. So let me go ahead and what did I do with my, All right, so let's see. I'm going to just sleeve and value the rest of this one, and then I'll actually open up a couple of these collector booster sample packs. And in addition, I will probably open up that other Fallout Commander deck. I got to balance it between not spending my entire life savings on just trading cards and having content to open. I don't know about anybody watching, but like opening boosters, I think is one of my most like favorite things that I've ever done. Like even as a kid, like I got into Pokemon cards when I was a kid with the very original set. Somewhere, I'm actually still hoping my parents have a binder full of my original first edition cards, including 3 first edition Charizards that were all in hard sealed cases. If that's the case, maybe I don't have to like work as hard anymore. But if that's not the case, then I learned a very valuable lesson that I shouldn't have gone through puberty and stopped being interested in nerd stuff during my teenage years, because it's just gone full circle. And if I'd kept all that stuff, I'd be very happy and proud right now. I know I didn't throw them out. I know I didn't lose them. So it's either my parents threw them out or they're hiding somewhere in their house in like a random place. And I'm very fearful that random place is like the attic of their garage with no climate control. And it gets really, really humid there in the summer. So if that's the case, like I said, oh well. I would say I learned, but there's not much you can learn from that scenario because you can't be a kid that grows up again. At least not yet, I guess. But yeah, so overall, I'm just very hopeful that I can find those Pokemon cards. I have no interest in going back to play that game as a trading card game again, but I do have interest in selling those cards to like, they're just so valuable these days. Like thinking back on it, I won a tournament back in the day. Somebody had a Haymaker deck for Blastoise like way back when the Pokemon TCG first came out and it was still being all the cards were printed by Wizards. I won this tournament. I got a whole box of English booster packs because a lot of times back then they'd like be like, "Oh, here's your prize. It's a Japanese box of booster packs," and that was like just not what anybody wanted versus the English ones. So, anyways, I got a box of English booster packs and they were all first edition. And then I noticed that if I had like just kept that all new sealed in the Wizards wrapping, I'm pretty sure that box is worth like in the like low $10,000 range or something like that now. So, just makes me feel a little bit more bad and filled with regret in certain ways, but it's fine. I'm a adult. I have a pretty good job, and it pays pretty well. It pays for all my expensive hobbies and habits, so I really can't complain. I have invested a lot of money recently in revisiting Magic the Gathering. I started streaming because I realized that I really wanted to get back into this game and relearn it since basically it was only standard when I last played. So that's why I'm currently sleeving this Commander deck, is because everybody's telling me, like all my friends that play now are like, yeah, you should just play Commander. It seems so much more casual, blah, blah, blah. So gonna try it. But also I still want to go back to play some standard, or I guess sometimes that would be considered legacy at this point, because doesn't mean that I want to always build decks that only adhere to like the latest 3 years of sets. For now, that's fun because a lot of the sets that are standard legal are these Universes Beyond ones. Like I want to say Spider-Man isn't gonna have Commander. It's just gonna be a whatchamacallit, standard like set to add to the standard competitive play right now. So that's exciting. If anybody was watching all the Avatar: The Last Airbender Magic live streams earlier, I was watching it for a bit. I had my pages up for Amazon and everything to try to get some pre-orders for collector boosters and stuff, and then I got busy at work, so by the time that I looked at it again, they had been scalped to death. So I'm a little bit bummed. Big shout out to one of my local trading card shops. They had pre-order stock that wasn't crazy high, like expensive, like scalper wise. So here's one of those thick card stocks. I don't really understand the purpose of these thick ones. Like why'd these ever get made? I don't really feel like they're valuable at all. They just stick out like a sore thumb and you can't really get a good value for them because they're huge. Is this thing gonna do the thing? Do the thing. You can do it. Fine. I will do the thing for you. Yeah, it's $1.08 because of the thick card version of this. I bet the regular one that I need to double check on next is probably, honestly, more valuable. So we'll check on that in a minute here. Let's see. It's another thing I'm planning on doing as one of my next steps here. Oh, I guess that was it. That was my 100 Commander cards, plus these are all the random ones and the like token cards. So I'll throw these through the value. let's see how much these foil ones are worth. I bet this is the harder to find deck, so I feel like one of these cards is actually worth some money. Maybe not. Or maybe not those cards. It was the other random cards that are actually worth something. So let's see here. All right, we'll just throw all these land cards in there. No, these aren't going to be fancy. I typically try to do this to all my cards just because it's a good way to like index your whole collection, because then you can help me with deck building since I'm just like relearning the game now. So the best thing is I can have like a whole data set that I could export, and you know, since I work in tech, I'm like honestly considering like exporting all my data at some point and then running it through AI to have it help me build decks. And then if that works really well, I might build an app for that and see if it'll help other people make decks, or try to sell that technology to one of these app companies that does everything else well but may not have thought of it the same way. So let's see. Almost done here. Then we'll move on and do some booster pack openings. Did that one? Oh, that worked. Oops. There we go. Sun Petal Grove. All right. Sheltered Thicket. All right, let's clear out this hopper again. Don't fall on me, phone. Do not do it. And we're going to move those over there. We're going to put this hopper back, and we'll do the rest of these cards real quick. All right, almost done. Oh, wow, that one's worth almost 10. Nice. Some of these random cards in the commander decks are actually the ones that typically are worth the most. Like I know Sphere Grid is one of the ones that's in a couple of, I think it's in the Final Fantasy X commander deck with Titus, and that card alone is worth like 12, 15 bucks. I think this Pip-Boy is also worth something. Yeah, like 5 bucks. All right, cool. Let me go, and I'm going to save all these to my collection. And then we are going to move on. So, all right, so that wasn't bad. That overall deck was worth like almost not quite double what I paid for it as a commander deck, but it was worth something. So I typically like when that's the case, where it's not like a completely invaluable deck. I think the Terra one, the one that's the character that's on the front of these collector boosters, I think her deck for Final Fantasy is worth by far the least. And if you go on Amazon right now, Amazon's selling it directly, which they almost always get scalped and sell out of absolutely everything. But the scalpers don't even want that deck. Things going on for like 50 bucks on Amazon when the MSRP I think is like 66 or 70. So tells you that that deck is not very sought after. But I will say that when I got the Terra Commander deck, the collector booster sample pack that I got in it, I think had like a $100 card or $80 card or something. I know I got the Borderless Extended Art Cloud Strife one, the one that looks kind of like this Jill one that's like all dark. Obviously not Surge Foil, but still, it was exciting. I was happy about that. And I was like, okay, well, buying that deck to complete my collection of Final Fantasy was officially worth it. All right, so next up here is let's open up something cool. So if there's anybody else that hasn't seen this yet and might be viewing, I can't tell if my view count is working or not, but I'm just really bragging about this one ring. Like, I'm really proud that I basically won this. I played a online card slot machine, and this is what I walked away with. I definitely didn't spend as much as I made off of getting these two cards from that service, so pretty cool. I'm honestly considering getting this one graded. I feel like this one's worth enough where it's worth trying to grade it. It looks like the card's in perfect condition. It's in a side loader perfect fit sleeve inside of one of these Ultra Pro 35-point magnetic one-touch cases. So yeah, I might send it out to PSA one of these days, see how that goes, but not really in a hurry. All right, so let's see. I think I'm going to open the box for this commander deck. I'm not going to make anybody sit through me sleeving a whole second like card deck tonight, but I do want to open this collector booster sample before I open the Final Fantasy ones again. So let's take a look and see what we got in store in this one. All right, here's the little deck box thing. I like to bend these guys a little bit the opposite way that they were set up before I put cards in it, because I've found that otherwise it's really annoying. So we'll do that, and we'll do this, and we'll do this. And then I like to bend them this way. All right, so there's my other deck box that I will put these cards in once I sleeve them. I'll probably do the sleeving tomorrow before I do the live stream with my fiance. So I might start off the live stream with that, but yeah, I won't make her sit through me just sleeving my own cards. I think she will lose interest very quickly. All right, look at that. We got a bunch of collector booster sample packs, and I have 10 collector boosters left for Final Fantasy that I'm rationing. So the more follows I get and the more views I get, the more likely I am to open a collector booster sample pack, or a real collector booster. I'm really saving those. I got at least another box of those for the Spider-Man series that's coming up. And then I got, like I said, I just pre-ordered Avatar: The Last Airbender, a collector booster box from one of my local card shops. They charged me a little more than what I would have paid if I didn't have to, or if the scalpers don't always win Best Buy and every other, like Amazon and all those. If anybody knows where to get these things at close to retail, like for pre-orders, please let me know and help me out here, because I'm just so disenfranchised by all the like scalpers everywhere that then you go on eBay and the thing is like, each of these collector booster boxes is like $1,500 or whatever, and then like you're just spending so much money to maybe gamble on getting some good cards. Like, then what happens if you don't get a traveling chocobo and you spent like $2,000 on a box of collector boosters for Final Fantasy? Like, did you just lose your shirt completely? Like, I don't know. It's disappointing that Wizards doesn't do a little bit more about it either. They could at least do some things, like not give Amazon all of their stock, or, to be quite honest, and if I worked for Wizards of the Coast, here's what I would do. I would actually create a subscription service for diehard trading card fans that had a limit on the number of things you can get, but overall would allow you to basically, it would be expensive too. Like, let's say that this thing is like $250, $300 a month, and then you have to pay for it for the full year to get like all the benefits, but you can pay for it monthly so long as you don't bail out halfway through the year. And if you've paid for it monthly, then everything that you could buy for that next year, like for each different set that releases, you get one copy of. Collector booster, bundle, gift bundle, any kind of like, scene box, stuff like that. Every different commander deck. Like, I feel like there's a market for this where there's a lot of us that just like to collect, and we don't need to scalp everything and resell it. We just want to at least have a chance to try to get a copy of the good stuff. And why can't we get that direct from Wizards? If they can send us Secret Lair stuff themselves, why can't they do this? So, all right, I'm going to step off my complaining high horse there, and actually I got to go let my dog inside. So I will be right back in a second, and then we'll get started on opening some of these collector booster sample packs. So stay tuned. All right, I think everybody's probably tired of hearing me just talk about random complaints that I have about life and everything. So let's go ahead and open some stuff. All right, so we're gonna open this guy. We're gonna see what we got for the Fallout collector booster here. I am hoping that we got something really neat, because I haven't had good luck with these Fallout ones lately, or ever. All right, we got Cass Hand of Vengeance and Isolated Chapel. So I'm gonna throw these both in there and see. All right, that one's worth like 49 cents, and I will switch back to my card scan view. And I don't think this thing's worth much either, but we'll see if it even scans. Do the scan. Figure yourself out. And what did that call it? Angry Rabble? I don't think that's right. No, that's a Spider-Man card. So let's see. This was Cass. Oops. Cass and a Vengeance, foil. Womp womp. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so collector boosters. Again, we collector booster sample pack here. We did not do very well. So I am just going to move on to the next one here. So let's take a look. All right, let's see if we got anything good here. The other day I pulled a borderless like Terra card with the like pink background, and that one was worth about 50 bucks, non-foil. So let's see if we got something better here. Summoner's Sending. I don't think either of these is actually super high value, but let's find out. Summoner's Sending, 18 cents as a non-foil, but we're going to go and switch that over to a foil version. So let's edit that. Still worth $2.65, so slightly better, but still terrible. All right, now let's look at Waka. Yeah, that's what I thought. Waka is worth less than the time I spent putting that card in there. Makes me sad. All right, a couple more of these, and then I'm going to call it because I got to eat dinner and get ready for going for a run really, really early tomorrow that I'm not looking forward to. All right, what do we get here? Reaper Scythe and Lease Hexed. At least on the plus side, it's cards that I actually haven't had before. So from a collection standpoint, at least I'm gaining more cards. Yeah, not much there. All right, last one for today. Let's see if we luck out here. Really hoping this one is something because this is my last sample pack one. I just bought these on eBay. I found somebody was selling them. If you bought enough of them, you get a pretty good discount. So I think I'm breaking even overall on what I spent. So the Falcon and Mog Moogle Warrior as a like extended art, and same with the Falcon. So let's see. Right, 29 cents, and let's see if we really lost. 21 cents. All right, so my collective value for a bunch of collector booster sample packs is like, I think $100-ish, and it's about what I spent on them, since these things are kind of expensive to get even as the sample packs. What I'm actually curious about is who is buying commander decks and opening all of them and then selling just the sample pack? Like, that can't be profitable. I feel like, yeah, I guess if you're selling the singles for the commander deck too, you can kind of like make 20 bucks a deck or so, but it just seems like a really weird way to try to make money. That or like somebody just ripped open a bunch of like commander decks somewhere, stole the collector booster sample packs, and then sold them on eBay. I don't know how that all works, but it just seems like a weird way to try to make money. But let's be honest, everybody's just trying to make money out there these days. So I don't really have any more things I really feel like opening today, but because it looks like I still have a viewer or two between YouTube and Twitch here, let me go grab a couple more packs of something that I got on my desk over there. So I'll be right back one more time, and then we'll open a few more items and then call it a night. All right, last stuff for tonight is these are going to be these Modern Horizon 3 play boosters. So sometimes I've actually gotten some pretty valuable pulls out of these play boosters, which is pretty cool. So let's take a look and see what we got here. So we got a token card. I'm not going to really care about that, so I'm just going to throw the rest of these in there and see what they're worth. Nothing too great yet. Oh, I thought this was a foil card for just a second there. Let's see, we got this double-sided card. Got Shrieking Drake. Feel like that was That would have been a good name for like some of the stuff that was happening with Kendrick Lamar and Drake last year or something. All right, let's see what this rare one's worth. All right, $5. Not bad. Let's see what this next rare one's worth. $6. All right, that's paying back its set then. And then what's that foil card worth? 75. Let's see what happens if I switch that over to a foil. Oh, almost $5. All right, so I made $15 off that booster, and so yeah, really not a bad booster opening right there. Those are the ones that I don't mind. I swear, since I started live streaming, I've done a lot less, or I've gotten a lot less lucky with what I got in these booster packs versus when I was just recording them ahead of time and then posting them to YouTube. But my luck's gonna change. Well, it has to, considering I have 10 of these collector boosters left. There's got to be at least one good thing in those like 150 cards that I have there. So we'll find out. As I get more followers and viewers, I will be doing more collector booster openings. I'm trying to save those to be a little bit more rare until I have a little bit bigger of a following here if possible. But I also don't, I honestly really want to open them. So at some point I'm going to start doing it either way. I opened 2 of them over the weekend, and then I kind of regretted it just because I'm like, I'm going to run out of content before I get to the next release, which is Spider-Man. So I have like a whole month before, and I need to make everything I own last at least that long. Right, let's see what this one is. All right, this guy. Let's see. 435, okay. How about this Emerald Medallion? Green spells you cast cost 1 less. That one actually might be worth a few bucks. $2. I said a few. This Eldrazi Linebreaker, let's see. 42. This is a foil. I'm not going to try to say. I don't know how to say that. It's Chthonian? Like Cthulhu, I guess? Chthonian? That's not the right card, so let me go fix that. This was... How did it get Urza's Nightmare out of that? Or Urza's Mittler? Delete. And this is Chthonian Nightmare. How do I spell that? CH... Foil... Yeah, 96 cents. Honestly, the work I just did to scan that card was like... I think I spent more of my time equaling money there, so... Oh well. Anyways, the other thing I'm going to start doing is some contests. I have a lot of like extra boosters that I could do giveaways for, so as I get more followers and I want to start like gaining even more, I'm going to be doing like that sort of thing. So if anybody's interested, just definitely follow and make sure that you're paying attention to what I'm posting, because there could be some benefits to people that are watching my streams, honestly. Galvanic Discharge. All right, let's go through this last pack. Okay, down to the last few cards here. All right, this is Russian Roaring Prophet. Let's see what that one looks like. 14 cents. Ooh. Okay, and my OCD says I need to switch this to a foil so it's indexed correctly. And $1.94. Ooh, big difference. Right, and let's see what this guy is. And then that one's also going to be a foil. So, okay, save that guy, throw that in there. Okay, so between those last couple collector boosters and all the Modern Horizons, it looks like we're up to $38.05 overall. Honestly, the Modern Horizons ones did better than anything else in that bucket for now. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it here, and yeah, so I'll be back tomorrow to open up this Lorcana box that I have sitting here. This thing was on clearance at Best Buy for like half price, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy this, and might have my fiance open it with me. So it's beat. The box itself is beat, but we're looking forward to opening that. We had fun opening the other one, and we're starting to play the Lorcana game as well. So we'll definitely be back streaming at some point tomorrow, probably around 5 o'clock Pacific or maybe a little bit later. So definitely keep track of all the socials. My handle is at AJ Choi Collects on pretty much absolutely